Hey, good morning.
Good afternoon
Good evening.
and good night.
Oh, man. Woo-wee. Got a big show. Big show.
Big program.
Shout out to my dear friends Daryl Quartermain Francis and his lovely wife Rita. I think I've told you a few years ago, Cipha, that they opened a record store down there in the DMV,
Yep.
and I'm rocking their new merch. Cipha, I
Man,
might have to get you one of these. Joints
can
are
I
clean.
can I
Love People
con-
Records,
can I
baby.
congratulate someone who I thought was just a hobby and turned into probably a dope business right now because everyone loves vinyl again?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Congrats.
yeah. I mean, listen, he told me recently though they're moving more merch than records. Like the merch that they're making for the
Yeah.
store is a better profit than the records.
That's how business works, man.
That's how business works, man. And by the way, he's doing a great job. The shit looks clean. So shout out to Daryl and Rita. Saw him a couple weeks back. Cipha, how are you doing?
I'm doing fine, man. I'm doing great.
Good. Really glad
Back
to hear
from
that.
Europe.
You're back from Europa.
Back from Europe. Had a wonderful time over there.
Damn.
Chilling in London and Rotterdam.
You were in foggy London town, yeah?
Yeah. Good times. Good times.
Anything? How was Aziz?
I just saw him briefly. I didn't even see his set because I was doing something. Jimmy Carr came on with us. He killed.
President Carter.
No, Jimmy Carr.
Jimmy Carr. No tur.
Comedian. Overall, yeah, the show. I did some of my own shows at Top Secret Comedy Club, which was awesome.
What's the name of
Some
it?
good One-Up fans.
What's the name of the comedy club?
Top Secret.
But you can listen. It's me.
Yeah.
What's the name of the comedy club?
No, it's called the Top Secret Comedy Club.
Saif, we've known each other a long time. You can tell me where you played in Europe before.
Third base.
That's right. Who's on third? So that's very cool. Have you watched the Jeselnik special yet?
No.
I haven't either, but I heard he taps into a topic that I very much like.
What's that?
Shitting on podcast comedians.
Oh, okay.
I heard he does a great job on the topic when he was on Marin a few weeks ago.
Uh-huh.
And that it's in his special too. That there's a lot of bro comedy
Right.
talk from Jeselnik.
Right.
Which I'm curious. We had
Sure.
Jeselnik on the show back in the day when he first was getting hot. You remember that?
Yeah, because what's his name was there too? The black guy from 40-Year-Old Virgin. I forgot his name. Romany Malco. No,
Romany Malco. That used to be our
Romany
dude.
Malco, yeah. He came up at that same day and he was like, "Oh shit, I like this guy Anthony Jeselnik."
You ever see either of them these days?
No.
Never see Jeselnik. He's not in he doesn't cross into your world.
I think he moved to LA, so that cancels out a lot.
And what about
Of
Romany
my world.
Malco? What about Romany
Never
Malco?
see him. I should hit him up. Maybe he has the same number.
I think I got his number on here. Should we just
Okay.
randomly blind call him and act as if we're still in touch?
No.
You sure?
I wouldn't. That's just me. What do I know? I don't know shit.
A lot has happened in the world since we last spoke, Saif.
Yeah, get to it because I don't want to spend an entire episode talking about other podcasts.
I don't like your tone. I don't like you yelling at me like this before I've even spoken. It's rude. No, I don't have a ton to say. I already said a lot of things on social. I know at the time we texted yesterday, I was like, buckle up, bitch. I'm about to go in.
Yeah.
I don't feel like that. But yeah, it may come as some surprise to people. But my guess is not that, considering you already know, to say I have mixed feelings on Andrew Schultz would probably be minimizing my feelings on Andrew Schultz. But particularly what I resent about him with regard to the weird white boy space that he plays in, I received the black card publicly from Charlamagne for all these years, and then I now have open season on a certain style of comedy. Look at me, I'm good. I talk about hip hop. I do this stuff. Oh, ha ha ha. Let me hang out with Donald Trump. Oh, let me say these little jokes and things and push towards a certain, but I'm covered because I'm down with the chala magay. I have a built-in resentment about that for sure. It annoys the shit out of me. And it's not even just about Schultz. He's like many others who operate in that space.
But is he better because he has Charlemagne?
I think he has been more relevant
Or
and
he feels like he's
popular.
better?
Better off.
Better off.
Yes. I have
allowed to make these statements because a lot of people reference black culture. He's actually has a cosign.
He has a cosign, and they like their podcast is like hip hop adjacent. Like when they do Brilliant Idiots, like they give their little takes on hip hop, and like, you know, he's been one of those people who sits sort of in the hip hoppy podcast space and comments on it without a firm base of knowledge or being a DJ or having ever played music or like supporting. He's just sort of like a podcaster who talks shit. And he's been given that pass by Charlemagne. Now, should be noted, I can't go back to Charlemagne's South Carolina days, but like he's not much of a DJ or music purveyor himself either. But I do know that he's of that. You know what I mean? I do know that he's of that at some point. So I'm already not high on Andrew Schultz. And then him being part of the Donald Trump humanizing tour, him going on every podcast and being like, let's just chum it up, man. Nothing big's going on. Hang with the Don. It didn't warm me either. So this may come as a surprise to you, Cipha. I was somewhat triggered by him joking. Yeah, I was a little offended. I know, woke flake that I am. I was a little annoyed, angered, perturbed when he joked about sodomizing Kendrick Lamar.
Oh my God.
Can you believe? I'm
so surprised.
Can you believe that me, of all people,
I'm shocked.
Think about it. Think about all the pieces that were there. A guy I already don't like talking nasty shit about my favorite artist. Someone I consider a friend, someone I care for, in Kendrick Lamar.
Hey, how are you going to sodomize Kendrick Lamar when I'm hugging the nuts? You back off, Andrew Schultz. These nuts are already hugged by me.
By the way,
Peter J. Rosenberg.
I don't know who Jay is, but if you are to attempt to sodomize Kendrick Lamar, you're basically sodomizing me by de facto because I'm there.
Yeah. Hey, how did this sodomizing turn into a threesome?
Exactly. You don't even know to expect that.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
But let me, a couple of things here. Let me break it down, everyone. Pay attention. I'm gonna break it down for you. There's a few things. Number one, as far as that specific comment, I would sleep with him and he could do nothing about it. I'd make love to him in a jail cell. That whole attempt at a joke. I actually relate on some level because, Cipha, there was a time, and you remember this, when I was new on Hot 97 and I would push boundaries of I'm going to talk about shit that's so edgy that it makes people feel uncomfortable. And I did it around homoerotic jokes sometimes, for sure. I definitely did. Now, I wasn't a 40-year-old multimillionaire at that time. I was a kid trying to figure out how I fit in and be funny and do stuff like that. But I do get the idea of wanting to shake things up. What I guess was weird, there's multiple layers that make it weird though. Number one, Cipha, the line that Kendrick has is not about Andrew Schultz.
It's not?
No. The line is really directed to the dudes who were sitting next to Andrew Schultz. It's Schultz adjacent, and so he took it as an opportunity to run.
Which is what he does.
And
he's really good at it.
It's too bad. He decided at some point the only way he can handle me is to pretend I don't exist. He thinks that that's the move. It's he doesn't want to give me any extra. He decided that's not the play.
You don't exist in his world.
But I do, because he saw those headlines all week, you bitch. So you can not publicize it if you want, because inside there's a little bit of bitterness to me because Cody Rhodes was on his show a few weeks ago, the wrestler, and Cody brought me up, and Schultz
Knowing that he doesn't like you, or
no
just randomly?
randomly came
Okay.
up, and Schultz deadpan looks at him and goes, "Oh, who's that?" and makes and the only reason I think that's weird, reason I think that's weirdo behavior is now you awkwardly sort of unintentionally embarrass your guest by making him explain who I am when you and your co-host know who I am and your audience like
But who cares about that one episode with that one guest?
no, it's just
The
weirdo shit.
long-term play
Right.
is that you don't exist.
Right.
And that comes from Charlemagne too, probably, because
Charlemagne told him for sure.
hey, this guy Rosenberg's talking shit about me, and Charlemagne said, "Don't worry about him. He don't matter."
Right. No. And what Charlemagne said was, "Trust me, I know the play is to not engage."
Yes, because they know you well enough to know that irks you the most.
I don't even think it's that. I think it's the.
I think they think that.
Well, yeah, and I think that's a good thing to think. It does irk me, I'm sure.
I don't know if it irks you the most. I'm saying I think they think that would really affect you, and that's why they do it.
Mm-hmm. And I also think Charlemagne thinks it's the safest play, because the thing is, the difference between me and everybody else who gets into it with him is I don't go away. Like I'm a fucking pest about people. Listen, I'm not perfect. God is still working on me. One of the traits I got from my father, I got some great traits from him. I got some not so great traits. You can judge this one for yourself. My dad has been telling me since I was a little kid, my dad used to joke. I checked the obituaries every day to see if Steve Rosen dropped dead. Steve Rosen was an old boss who got my dad fired. My dad said I check the obituaries every day to see if he's dead.
Wow.
And guess what my dad told me on Thanksgiving?
He dropped dead.
Steve Rosen's dead.
That's a lot of negative energy, bro.
It's a lot. No, and listen, I don't hold on to, I think, as much as I don't think I hold on to as much as my dad does. And by the way, I don't think he was also serious that he actually checked the obituaries every day.
Right, now I got it.
But there was a message to it, which is, I don't forget. But I think that is a thing about me. And now listen, you know this about me too, Cipha. The difference probably with me is I'm also willing to make up with someone if the right circumstance comes up. No problem. Like I can always find a common ground and be like, hey, let's bury it. I'm open. I'm always open. But sometimes if you've crossed certain lines, like say you forgave Charles Magay. You
it's not even I forgave him. I never had a problem with him.
That's not true. At the beginning?
No.
You didn't have a problem when the Haiti thing happened?
No. I've told you this for years and years and years. I never had a problem with him. Anything I ever said bad about Charlemagne on the radio was just normal radio competition beef shit.
Didn't care that he tried to put you in danger and your career and physical in danger.
That's his job.
That's not his job. That is not his job. I've never done that. That is not his job.
I didn't say it was your job. I said that's his job.
Okay,
that's what he does.
And the Gestapo's and the Gestapo soldiers' job were to kill people. That doesn't help you when you get to the gates of hell.
That's not I'm not here to judge. Only God can judge.
But you don't even really believe in God. So I can judge. I'm judging.
You obviously you judge. You used what he said to me as your platform to hate Charlemagne.
No.
It doesn't bother me what people say. It doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me.
So okay. So what if you'd put your family in danger? Would that have been more? It was just you, because you were in danger.
Yeah, but
listen, you don't have to. You know what? Listen, why am I trying to push you? If that doesn't bother you,
but to the point you're saying, I forgave him. I never had a problem with him. But yeah,
God bless.
Yeah,
God bless. That bothered me. That wasn't what sent it to the other things. It was more specific to me and lying about me and putting my personal life in peril that made me not want to let go. But then it's been a series of other things. Anyways, this is a long way of saying I'm in the tall grass. And so he probably told Schultz, leave him alone. He's not worth it. All you'll do is give him more fuel and whatever. No problem. No problem. It's all good. I will say, though, this specific thing bothered me so much, not only because of, like, the man brought you up in a bar and your way to keep the story going, you thought was a good idea. Andrew Schultz thought it was a good idea as a white podcaster who's adjacently connected to hip hop. I guess he's a fan. Thought the response was to make jokes about forcing sex, sodomizing one of the most beloved black artists in the world right now. Like,
weird choice.
Weird choice.
Weird choice. I will admit.
Thank you.
Weird choice.
Weird choice. And
I can see now, up until that point, him taking that line, applying it to himself, responding to it, all that is in the Schultz world. He's very good at that.
Yes.
Very
extending
good
it and making it more, and it's worked for him. It's made him more famous and more popular.
You want something to last, you talk about it on your platform, make it last. All that's good. Responding to it, I think he should have in the Schultz world. Just that, just the sexual part of it just seemed.
Well, the deadpan sort of like, here's what was weird. You have this intellectual rapper who no one has ever discussed trying to be gangster. In no way does Kendrick try to come off as gangster in any way.
That's not true.
What do you mean?
That's not true.
Come off as gangster? Kendrick Lamar?
Kendrick Lamar, he doesn't personally say he gangbangs, but he makes a lot of references to like the people around him.
But not
and how he grew up.
But not
you cannot take Kendrick Lamar completely out of the.
No, you can't. Which is, by the way, all the more reason why Schultz is not very smart.
But that's a whole other thing. Just go step by step.
But what I'm saying is he's not a threatening or menacing figure. That's not Kendrick's style. And in this comment,
the pop out is him saying, "Yo, look what's around me." That's a threat. It's a smart threat. He's doing it in an intellectual way. He's not fucking Snoop Dog Pound or fucking G Perico. Like,
okay, I hear what you're saying.
Murder was the case.
I hear what you're saying.
But if you come on, there's everything everything about how he rhymes, and videos has that element to it
for sure. That's what he's of.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, on this bar and generally speaking, he doesn't directly be like, "I'ma F you up. I'ma grab my
he's
gun."
Smarter than that. He
doesn't do that. Yes. And in this case, he certainly didn't do that. He just said, "Don't talk about no black women. That's law." So why that you decided you had to go the violent path and then the sexually violent path?
I can even understand the violent part.
It would be a bad idea.
I could understand it more than the jail cell rape.
You decided to make sexual jailhouse references to the non-thuggin, beloved part of a very gangster community. That's a weird choice. Like, of all the people to go at, you would have been better off going at a gangster himself than kind of trying to pick on a guy who's not that, but has people around him everywhere who are that. That's a bad, that was a bad choice. In all seriousness, as someone who has stumbled into problems before that I didn't want, problems that were much more innocuous, things that I said that were nowhere near of this level.
Yo, chill out with them big words, bro. I'm gonna take it as disrespect.
Romany Malco reference again. I strongly recommend he apologize. Like, I know he won't. That's the kind of thing I would do.
What's
telling
gonna happen
you,
to him?
Cipha, hopefully nothing.
He's a rich white man in America. What happens to them?
Hopefully, in his case, nothing. I don't.
From past reference, what happens?
He said he got death threats.
Everyone gets death threats.
Yeah, by the way,
the moment you get one little controversial thing on the internet,
I'm just saying what I saw.
Everyone, I got death threats over the fucking OVO shit. Like, it doesn't.
No. The death threats he's talking about were people in his comments saying nasty shit. I'm not saying it's fun. And I saw his shock and awe. They were commenting things on pictures of my family.
I'm
First
saying
of all,
he's not even taking it
Billy,
seriously.
I'm not talking to you anymore. I got you. Wait, what do you mean he's not taking it seriously?
When he says when he makes it a joke that he got death threats.
No, I saw him talking about taking it seriously.
No, there's no way he's taking it seriously.
I promise you, I watched an extended clip of him talking about how nasty people are for commenting on things of his family, his child.
The truth is, yes, the comments are nasty. He's not taking it like there's actual death.
Sorry. You mean like he's not going to police and
Yeah.
being like, I feel under threat. And by the way, just to
He has done the math, and I don't know this person. I just know how he is. I know Schultz pretty well. He's done the math. When has anything ever happened to these people? When?
Okay, let me just hear me out. Hear me out. You mentioned the so-called threats. Obviously, it's disgusting that people would comment nasty things about his child. It's repulsive, and people on the internet do repulsive things. Now, listen, he happens to prop up someone like academics who does that intentionally to people on a huge platform, and he props him up and has no problem with it. He literally does that to people, did it to me, has no problem trying to like ruin people's lives and mess with people and dox people and all that stuff.
Mhm.
But I understand why you wouldn't like it, and it shouldn't happen to you. Cipha, you asked the question, what's going to happen? My hope would be nothing.
Mhm.
I'm telling you, I feel like I wouldn't want to be looking over my shoulder in Los Angeles for the rest of my life. I wouldn't.
I get it. I don't either. I wouldn't either. But we're
I'd
also not fucking rich, incredible marketers. You know what I mean?
You're right.
Like,
We're not. When I got that phone call from Nori going, yo, man, I think you should apologize, man. Like,
what? To who?
the Chuck thing.
Yeah.
Remember? And
Mhm.
this was me just being sort of a defiant young a-hole.
Yes. And
Right?
but you are in hip hop.
But I'm in it. Right. Like, I'm
You're
in it. So it is different. And
You make your money from it. You love it. You respect it. You are in it 100%.
right. Even
If
the
you're
dumb
gonna be
things,
in it, you gotta respect the elders.
and even the dumb things that I said in my past always came from passion for the whole thing, right? Like I'd get
Yes.
riled up, and obviously it was but he does still eat off of it. He does. That's what makes him a culture vulture, because he does. He comments on albums. He gives his opinions. He gets in the thing with Kendrick. He does. He literally, it's a vulture. He steals. He's taking from it to build himself. He does not give back. He just does the taking. Now, I don't know. No one wants to get technical, but that is what makes it gross, and that's what makes not all people are the same.
If he asked you how do you give back, what would your answer be?
I help build the career of the artist that I play. I
Bring a lot of new music. You play a lot of new artists.
I give time and energy to artists individually. I sometimes play music I don't even really feel like playing, but I'm just trying to give people a chance, and I go through it and spend time working on it. I don't get paid for my late night show that I have to do hours of work on every weekend for the last 17 years.
Mhm.
Literally, this point, I get no credit for it, no money for it. All I do is enjoy having a place where I can play artists that don't get played otherwise.
And you
To
have a
me,
new podcast where you have new artists.
I could go. We could keep going. You know,
Okay.
like there's
All right. I'm just saying, if he came at you, you had a debate on what is it that you do.
no,
You
because
have-
you're right. Because there are people out here who
They just put you all in the same box.
100%.
Yeah, you're in the white boy box.
In fact, former Rosenberg foe Mia Khalifa decided to jump out and say, related to the subject, to repost something from me and say, he's not a colleague, he's a colonizer about me.
Mia Khalifa said that about you?
Mia Khalifa said that. Yes.
Oh, she's hot.
She is.
She's hot.
She is. She's
Why she
and
say
what-
that about you?
You know what I like about her too is
You
that
got beef with her?
she's only famous. What I like about her is that what she got famous for is just like being an intellectual who's really thoughtful and had all kinds of ideas to share with the world.
And
that
hold
she-
on, my sarcasm alarm's going off.
And that's what I like.
Sarcasm.
That's what I know. That's what I like about her. She earned it through intellectual thought and
You can't
sharing
sex shame
ideas.
anymore. Sex shaming is bad.
What do you mean?
You're sex shaming her.
How am I sex shaming her?
I don't know. I don't know why you have beef. I don't know why you even bringing her up.
Because she went at me
Well,
last week.
let's
Decided to
talk
call me a
more about white.
colonizer also.
Let's do an episode about white podcasters. So go on.
Sorry.
So
the level that I had
yeah,
to hold
so-
Natalie back from going after Mia Khalifa when she saw this post.
wait, this was recent?
This was 2 days ago.
Oh, over the Schultz thing?
Yes. Yo, this idiot literally posted when she posted something that I thought was repulsive on October 7th. I DM'd her. I didn't publicly say it because I know her. I DM'd her and was like, this is a bad take. She screenshotted me and then tries to make me seem like this terrible person because I calmly expressed, I don't think the way you're expressing things is a good
What
path.
is it your business? What is it your business to tell people? You do that a lot. You tell people how they should.
Yeah, if you express your pride in the death of Jews, I'm going to express it to you. And if you don't like it, don't like it. Post it. But I'm going to remind you of something, Mia Khalifa. I remember when we stopped being friends. You know why we stopped fucking with each other?
You were friends with her.
Yeah. Oh, I was.
I didn't know
We were always very friendly.
I didn't know that.
And we basically fell out. We basically fell out because when I was actively against, like 7, 8 years ago, we're from the DMV and she's a sports fan. That's what the connection is. 7, 8 years ago, when I was all for the Redskins changing their name, I think you told me, like, shut your fucking mouth, bitch, because you never thought the name Redskins should change, which is weird because your whole brand now is defender of the people and anti-oppression. But 7 years ago, before that was your brand, when your brand was something else, you were not for supporting the people. And me, colonizer, was for my team changing their name when no one else was. But you called me out for that. It's just weird how it wasn't trendy, but now it's trendy, and now you're king of the oppressed. That's so crazy, Mia Khalifa.
Queen?
So crazy.
She
Queen of the oppressed.
You
I don't
can't-
see gender, Cipha.
Okay.
All right, so all the way back full circle.
Yeah.
The thing that Kendrick was talking about was, don't let the white comedian talk about black women. That's law. In the week and a half since then, I saw him on his own podcast where he squeezes all the minority people onto one little couch. He sits on the white man's throne, and all the brown and black people who co-sign him get squoze into the couch. I saw him do it with them. And then I saw him have Charlemagne and the lady who does the show with them sit on Brilliant Idiots and do the same thing again. That's literally what he was saying, is like, why is no one going to check this guy? No one checks the guy. And it's unfortunate, as David Banner said to me a few weeks ago, it's unfortunate that I end up being someone who checks people for stuff like this. But here I am. And I'm sorry, Schultz. I had to do it. I still hope nothing bad happens to him, and I still don't think it's right that anyone says anything nasty about his family, because I don't ever support that no matter what the situation is. But the last thing, Cipha, why was his default fight back against Kendrick to talk about how hip-hop is anti-women? That really showed me where you're at on hip-hop, that your way of defending yourself against Kendrick was going, oh, because hip-hop is so pro-women. Starts rapping bitches.
That's an argument that could be made.
Yeah, but what are you, a fucking op? What kind of Karen are you? Why would you go right to being anti-hip-hop? I thought you like hip-hop. You sit there and name drop rappers. You interview them on your show sometimes. You act like you like the culture. Why would your default be to go to how bad hip-hop is about women? And why would you do it towards Kendrick Lamar?
Well, at first they did it towards Kendrick, right?
Yes.
I heard him say something about, oh, you'll take your music off Spotify if R. Kelly's music is taken off. And something about doing songs with Chris Brown or something like that.
Because Kendrick didn't like the optic of the white comedian making jokes about black women in front of two black guys, he tried to respond by saying, like, let me go look through the notes and find all the times you've done something hypocritical and see if that solves it. I love that way of arguing, by the way. Like we're dealing with a current thing. Let me dig through your whole life and see if I can find an inconsistency and then hold it up to you. Then I win. What? No, you don't. You don't. Kendrick Lamar's brand is intact. Yeah, of course. No human being's infallible. He's associated with people, I'm sure, who weren't perfect. I'm sure he said things that weren't perfect. But I think when we talk about the way women are talked about on records, no one has ever been like that. Kendrick Lamar better clean up his act.
He's way low on the list compared to a lot.
I mean, he has songs about like empowerment, uplifting women.
He's got everything. Kendrick has everything. Yeah. So okay.
But your man's an op, and he heard the opportunity, and he goes, rap.
The sex stuff, the sexual connotation is so weird. It's incomprehensible to me.
I think it's incomprehensible.
That's what I said. Incomprehensible.
Okay. Got it.
Kendrick right now is not to be fucked with. Kendrick right now is on a high alert. I mean, listen, this GNX album, Kendrick sounds angry. He sounds angry on this album. My problem with Kendrick is...
You have a problem with Kendrick? Oh, you're next. This is crazy.
My problem with Kendrick is he won the battle.
Okay.
And now he's like, fuck it. Anybody could get it. Blah, blah. I don't like that. I don't like when like you just, it's like anger. It feels like it's anger fueling. Oh, y'all thought I was there? Boom. Anybody could get it. Right. I don't like that attitude. It's to me, and I'm only speaking about me, it festers negative energy. He won. And mind you, I love aggressive hip hop. I love the album. And also, I don't know him well enough to know if this is an act or if it's real or how much of the lyrics equal real life, whatever. But that being said, knowing he's on such a tear right now and knowing that he united the West Coast in a way that hasn't been done in many, many years. Real street dudes. And then for his mural to get whacked out must feel crazy, right? Like, that's some gang shit, right? Like, fuck this, fuck you, whatever. Why play with that man when he's on such a fucking red line right now?
Who are you referring to?
Schultz. And anyone, but Schultz, because this is. So I know Schultz will be like, nah, ain't shit gonna happen. They ain't gonna do shit to me. Like, and probably right.
Probably.
Now, I wouldn't do it. Well, just in general, I don't do stuff like that anyway. But I wouldn't do it because of I'm in the culture and I have to be around the culture all the time. And that is something that would have to be dealt with, especially on the West Coast.
Yes.
But I'm sure Schultz feels like, this rap shit don't affect me. This black street shit don't affect me. And usually it doesn't. Like, to go back to a nasty situation of like fucking like George Zimmerman, right? Like Jay-Z has the line like streets is dead. You know what I mean? Streets is dead. It's weird to play with, but in his not defense, but in his trying to think of his thought process, if you do the math, usually nothing happens.
I think you're correct.
If you do the math. Now, the Rick Ross thing in Canada and the Schoolboy Q in Canada makes me think usually stuff doesn't happen. This time, things kind of happen.
Emotions have been high.
Hot. And things a little bit more happen than they usually do. Like Rick Ross getting threatened or beat up or whatever happened to Ross. I don't know the exact situation. And I think what Schoolboy Q got thrown off stage or booed off something.
Is that what happened? I thought they just canceled the show.
Okay, whatever it is. So things have gone further than they usually do, where your calculations of nothing usually happens. This time things are kind of happening. This one feels elevated. So why play with it and then play with it so extreme?
And then not back off. And so far, not back off. Like, continue to, once you get called out for having gone too far,
I think he could say,
you
well,
kind
I
of
don't
keep
need to go
doubling
to LA.
down.
I don't need to go to LA.
But of course he does. He wants to be a star. He doesn't want to just sit in New York and do a podcast.
I mean, what's Kendrick going to do?
Kendrick's not going to do anything about it. Just to be clear, Kendrick's not going to do anything. It's that time when you're randomly at an award show and the dude who does security for so-and-so is from the neighborhood with so-and-so.
What do they do?
I don't know.
Smack him?
I don't want to find out.
Whatever you do to him, he's going to come back on the podcast and make it even bigger. I think Schultz is willing to take a slap for content.
He's of the school of Charlemagne, who did survive that "can I get a drop" moment with just a light little dust up.
What was that?
Right, light. He got out light. Super light.
The thing is, Schultz is a comedian. So if Schultz is caught on camera doing what Charlemagne did, he's just going to make a joke about it.
All right? I mean,
They got me. They caught me. I had to put my track shoes on. He'll make a joke. He's smart enough to know 3 steps ahead. All right, if something happens to me, I can use it on the show. What were we going to say, Billy?
I was going to say, the way you guys are talking about it, and the more I'm thinking about it, it kind of gives me that reminder of, like, at the beginning of when Drake used to beef with people, and he was like, well, I'm so popular, and, like, everybody loves me. I can kind of do whatever I want, but this really isn't me. And it keeps happening and happening and happening.
Right.
And then Kendrick just, like, went at him, and it's like he's done it to Meek Mill before, and that's coming back up now. This one is just getting progressively worse, and he uses the same thing where he says like gay shit about people. It's actually a good point, Billy and Cipha. So you and I talked about the physical repercussions, which again, hopefully there won't be any. But Kendrick's smart, and Dave Free is smart. And if they really were offended by this and think it was fucked up, I think they could. I don't know Schultz well, but I know people who've been around him. He's not that smart. Like, I think.
Schultz is smart.
No, Cipha, there's levels to this. He's a smart guy. I'm sure. He made it.
Listen, I understand you got your issues.
Schultz is smart. He's not Dave Free or Kendrick Lamar smart. He's not.
They're super smart also.
They're
in shape. They're in smart shape.
Oh, they're in shape.
Yeah.
And they're very popular. And Schultz, I know you're popular. He sold out the Garden. Congratulations. It's great. Kendrick just announced a stadium tour. He's doing the Super Bowl. Okay. He's as popular as it gets right now.
But if he's that popular and he mentions Schultz.
I get it. And maybe we live in a world where that's all that matters.
In his world, it does.
Well, guess what? That's what Drake thought too. And he's in fucking trouble, bro. And that's Drake, not Andrew fucking Schultz, who's been hot for exactly 1 minute.
No,
Drake's been not like Drake.
Not like Drake, but you're comparing two different things.
No, but what I'm saying is, if
they're being very similar in how they act.
Yeah, and
Drake and Schultz.
Yes, yeah, their caucasity, audacity. He
troll.
thinks nothing can happen, and he thinks nothing can happen because, to Cipha's point, and Cipha's painting it well, he's white.
Nothing does happen. Nothing has happened
yet. How many times did Drake start up with people, and now it's affecting him?
Bad.
I'm saying Andrew Schultz has done this multiple times, and he trolls tons of people, and like. It didn't work. It didn't happen with Meek Mill, but that's coming back, and I'm sure it's gonna people are gonna talk about that more than before.
I know Schultz well enough to know. I mean, whatever. I know him well enough, but also I don't know him at all. I know Schultz watched. This is not me knowing for sure. This is what I think.
Right.
I could bet Schultz watched all of Drake's moves and what we will all call missteps, and is calculating how to combat that.
He's also best friends with two of the biggest trolls in media and has them on all the time.
Who's that?
Academics and Charlemagne
Yes.
and Joe Budden.
Charlemagne.
Like he's on that path.
But by the way, it's also important to note he has one thing Drake doesn't have. He's actually white. Like,
Very
he's
white.
white. Like, I saw the people who are fighting with me in my comments that I haven't responded to, but the thousands of comments. Yo, ever since your man went full Trump, he's got the full white army.
He's full Rogan, full Trump.
They see him. They see him, and I think correctly, as a representative of their whiteness.
Yeah.
Again, y'all, I know I seem like a psycho who just has vendettas. I was uncomfortable for Mans having the Hitler cut for a year for a reason. I thought it was fucking weird. And then all of a sudden we start leaning into the right stuff. Oh, here comes Trump. Let me beef. Now I'm going to sodomize in joke form, not just any black artist, the one who's truly about like righteousness, upliftment for the people. Let me go after him. Wow. Shockingly, you know who's lining up on Schultz's side? The whole white supremacist Twitter army who's seen all the other moves leading up to here, and they love fighting with Kendrick Lamar. Kendrick Lamar, the guy who supports kneeling, the guy who supports Colin Kaepernick, who supported this thing, this cause, that Black Lives Matter here, the guy who made To Pimp a Butterfly, they love being against him. And again, but you're the guy who's been using hip hop also.
It's almost like the thing I get mad about, the thing I could get mad about Schultz, which I'm not because I don't care.
Because you don't care. You do not care.
It feels like you're almost un-New York. You know what I mean? Like, Schultz to me has always been a New York guy. And I think if I was a betting man, I would say he's out of New York soon.
Oh, like he ends up doing like an Austin or a fucking random spot here.
Yeah. Why does he even need New York anymore? You know what I'm saying? He built his empire to be internet.
But he did it. Listen, he got the Charlemagne academics. Let me exist. And by the way, when I say like
that's an easy flight.
When I say he got that pass, when I say he got that pass from them, I'm not trying to suggest, by the way, that like black audiences were naive and fully embraced him. But he became part of the consciousness of many people because of them. He was able to build his brand because of them.
So what? What's your point? We all do that.
Right, but then you don't turn around and also align with the white supremacist side. He
You
did both.
do when you're white.
But not everybody.
There's a lot of people I know in hip hop.
I know a
lot of white guys that are fully in hip hop when they're younger, and as they get older, you see them wear sweater vests and shoes and like.
Well, fuck those people. Honestly, fuck. I have always that's now. Besides, I'm so glad you said that. You're now tapping into why I'm so emotional about this. I resent the fuck out of those people who they literally was like, oh yeah, I loved rap. MOP. Oh yeah, bang bang. Oh well, yeah, sure. Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, wait a second. Now you're out of it and you just went full white. Was that always just some sort of fetish entertainment for you? Like. And I think for a lot of them it is.
I guess they get older and they feel like hip hop is a young man's thing, or I can't be out. Hip hop is my blood, my culture, my religion, and mind you, I don't even like a lot of the stuff that's coming out now. It's still who I am. Am I frozen?
No, you're back now.
It's who I am. You know what I'm saying?
I know.
Hip hop is my blood, my like. I'm a hip hop person doing comedy.
Correct.
You understand that? Like,
Scythe, I'm the hip hop person who does sports.
exactly.
It's
like,
us.
I'm
It's
not,
who we are.
Like, I'm not now forgot about hip hop and I do comedy. I'm a hip hop guy who does comedy.
Correct.
Everything about me is hip hop. The way I look, walk, dress, talk, everything. Now, mind you, I've always been a guy that's been maybe more on the nerdy side, intellectually, right? Knowing that hip hop and hood,
By the way,
the
but
Venn
that
diagram
fits too.
is
But
huge.
that fits too, by the way. The nerdy intellectual hip hop person, that's a big sect of it too.
Yeah, like my life, Cipha, the word, my name comes from hip hop, comes from the 5% Nation mixed with the hip hop in the 90s. My son's name, the name of my company, my culture, it all comes from that. And I don't feel right leaving it. Leaving it is not even an option. It's who I am.
But that's, you're saying what I'm feeling.
I know, but I'm saying it with emotion so we can sound like we're arguing and have a good podcast.
No, but Saif, that's
no.
why I get angry, and I get it. There's going to be a dumb asshole like Mia Khalifa or whoever who doesn't know what I do, and they just straight up are like, look, he's white, he gives opinions on hip hop, they're all the same, he's a colonizer. And
Now,
it's like, no, motherfucker, they're not all the same.
that being said, maybe that's the same with Schultz. Maybe you're automatically putting him in this white box.
No, I've been watching it for 10 years. It's always been a fraud. He likes it. I'm not doubting that the guy likes rap. I'm sure he does. He likes it. It's music he enjoys. But what happened? The second he got tested, your default thing was, let me shit on hip hop overall? Fuck you. That was where you went right away? He sounded like fucking Bill O'Reilly or C. Dolores Tucker. He went straight Karen. I mean, well, the rappers, they're talking about women. I can't make a joke. What about all the rap? Your rap, they hate women. You, Kendrick, you and your raps, you're so bad to women. What about me? He went immediately, call the cops, where's the manager? Rap is bad for women. That was your default in your I would never. The idea that someone would bring something up and I would be like, I'd point. Now, have we had conversations, of course, on our show in an intellectual way about homophobia in hip hop? Stuff with women in hip hop. Sure, when we're discussing it within the context of the culture, we can have those conversations. But to defend yourself because someone said you were being sexist and you go, what about rap? That showed me all I need to know about Andrew Schultz. I know who you are now.
You make a good point.
That's who you are.
Cipha, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Because in the past month or two, we've been talking about like, people say like, oh, I'm a comedian. I was just telling a joke.
Yeah.
What he said on that podcast, and he said afterwards, I'm a comedian. I made a joke. And Charlemagne said, why is a comedian getting in trouble for telling a joke?
Yeah.
Do we agree that?
Yes.
But that wasn't funny, was it?
It doesn't matter. A joke is not always funny. We try stuff. We walk on a tightrope and say things all the time. The thing I said about it, which I said earlier, like the same thing with Tony Hinchcliffe. He told a joke and it went horribly wrong. I get Tony Hinchcliffe's joke in New York in a Puerto Rican place. I get that joke. I didn't like it, but I get it. Schultz joke, I don't get.
I don't get it either. That's why I'm asking you.
He can joke. Any comedian, anybody can joke. I will always defend the right to crack jokes. I personally feel that is a weird fucking joke to go to.
And the context you did it in, you weren't on a stage in front of people. It's just to everybody in front of a microphone.
And in the not the era, but the time we're in where Kendrick is like, but this is the difference between me and Andrew Schultz. He's smart enough to go, this is the hottest shit in the world right now. This is hot fish grease. I'm jumping in. Me personally, I don't like fish grease. So
Beautifully said. By the way,
stay out.
hey guys, can we continue this on Patreon?
are we doing Patreon?
Want to right now?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
I
let's
love
go.
Patreon. I was just about to say something incredibly poignant.
So if you're enjoying this conversation, we're going to continue it. Patreon.com/WanEpisLife.